Hello, today we're going to review the fundamental rules to obtain your commercial driver's license in South Carolina. This exam has specific requirements for professional drivers, so let's get prepared for you to pass that exam on the first try. What is the minimum tread depth for steering axle tires? 432-inch. Federal safety standards require a deeper tread on steering tires to ensure maximum grip and prevent hydroplaning. Let's continue. What is the minimum tread depth for all tires except steering tires? 232-inch. While non-steering tires have a lower minimum, you must still inspect them regularly to ensure they are legal and safe. Next question. How many red reflective triangles must you carry for emergencies? 3. You are required to have these ready to warn other drivers if your vehicle becomes disabled on the side of the road. Let's move on. At what size should the low air pressure warning light or buzzer activate? Before pressure falls below 60 psi. This warning gives you enough time to stop safely before the emergency brakes engage automatically. Continuing. What is the first step in a pre-trip inspection? Review the last vehicle inspection report. You must confirm that any previously reported defects have been fixed before you start your trip. Next point. Which of these is a sign of steering system defects? Steering wheel play of more than 10 degrees. If you can move the steering wheel more than 2 inches on a 20-inch wheel without the tires moving, the system needs repair. Let's keep going. How much following distance should you maintain at 40 mph in a 40-foot wheel? 4 seconds. The general rule is 1 second for every 10 feet of vehicle length when traveling under 40 mph. Next question. What is the purpose of the tractor protection valve? It keeps air in the tractor if the trailer breaks away. This valve prevents loss of air pressure in the tractor's braking system during a trailer separation. Let's continue. When should you downshift a manual transmission? Before entering a curve or starting down a hill. Downshifting early ensures you are in the correct gear for maximum control and engine braking power. Next point. What happens when the air pressure in the tanks falls to 45 psi? The spring brakes will usually come on. When air pressure drops into this range, the tractor protection valve and trailer air supply valve will pop out, applying the emergency brakes. Let's move on. What is the maximum leakage rate for a combination vehicle with the engine off and brakes released? 3 psi in 1 minute. A leak larger than this indicates a defect in the air system that must be addressed before driving. Continuing. What is the maximum leakage rate for a combination vehicle with the engine off and brakes applied? 4 psi in 1 minute. Once you apply the foot brake, the system is under more pressure, allowing for a slightly different leakage threshold. Next question. How do you check for a secure coupling between the tractor and trailer? Gently pull forward against the trailer brakes. This tug test confirms that the fifth wheel jaws have properly locked onto the trailer's kingpin. Let's keep going. What should you do if your vehicle catches fire? Park in an open area away from buildings. Moving the vehicle away from structures and other vehicles helps prevent the fire from spreading. Next point. What is the proper way to use a fire extinguisher? Aim at the base of the fire. You must extinguish the source of the flames rather than the smoke or the top of the fire. Let's continue. When should you use your high beams? Whenever it is safe and legal. Maximize your visibility at night, but always dim your lights when within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle. Next question. What is the main cause of brake fade? Overheating of the brakes. Excessive use of the service brakes on long downgrades causes them to heat up and lose stopping power. Let's move on. How do you test the service brakes? Drive forward at 5 mph and push the brake pedal firmly. The vehicle should stop straight without pulling to either side or having a delayed response. Continuing. What is the purpose of the trailer air supply control, red knob? To supply the trailer with air and release trailer emergency brakes. Pushing the red knob sends air to the trailer's tanks and releases the spring brakes. Next point. What color should the steady light on an ABS malfunction indicator be? Yellow. A yellow ABS light on the dash or the trailer indicates the system needs service, though normal braking is still available. Let's keep going. Why should you avoid using the trailer hand valve while driving? It can cause a trailer skid. The hand valve should only be used to test the trailer brakes, never for general braking, as it can lead to a jackknife. Next question. What is off-tracking? When the rear wheels follow a different path than the front wheels. In any turn, the rear wheels will pull closer to the inside of the curve than the front wheels. Let's continue. How often should you check your cargo after starting a trip? Within the first 50 miles and every 150 miles after. You must also recheck your load after every 3 hours of driving or after any break. Next point. What is the legal BAC limit for a commercial driver in South Carolina? 0.04%. Commercial drivers are held to a much stricter standard than regular motorists to ensure public safety. Let's move on. What does the air compressor governor do? It controls when the compressor pumps air into the tanks. The governor maintains the air pressure between the cut-in and cut-out levels. Continuing. How do you test if the spring brakes come on automatically? Step on and off the brake pedal until the red knob pops out. This fanning of the brakes reduces air pressure until the emergency system is triggered. Next question. Which of these is the most important reason for inspecting your vehicle? Safety for yourself and other road users. A mechanical failure on a heavy commercial vehicle can have devastating consequences. Let's keep going. When coupling, what should you do to the trailer before backing under it? Shock the trailer wheels. This prevents the trailer from moving or being pushed backward when the tractor makes contact. Next point. What is the dangerous condition where the trailer loses traction and swings out? Trailer jackknife. This usually happens when the trailer wheels lock up during heavy or improper braking. Let's continue. What should you do if your wheels start to skid? Stop braking and turn the steering wheel into the skid. Letting off the brakes allows the wheels to start turning again and regain traction. Next question. What should you check on the fifth wheel during inspection? That there is no space between the upper and lower fifth wheel. Any gap indicates that the coupling is not secure and the trailer could come loose. Let's move on. When checking the air compressor belt, what should you look for? Proper tension and no cracks. A faulty belt can prevent the air compressor from maintaining the pressure needed to operate your brakes. Continuing. What is the safety valve in an air brake system set to open at 150 psi? This valve protects the air tanks and lines from excessive driving. Next point. Why is it dangerous to use a retarder on wet or icy roads? It can cause the drive wheels to skid. Retarders can provide too much braking force to the drive wheels when traction is low. Let's keep going. How far ahead should you look while driving? 12 to 15 seconds. Looking far down the road allows you to anticipate traffic changes and avoid sudden braking. Next question. What is the best way to see around your vehicle? Check your mirrors regularly. You should be checking your mirrors every few seconds to stay aware of traffic on all sides. Let's continue. Which of these is a rule for backing a trailer? Back toward the driver's side whenever possible. Backing to the driver's side left allows you to see the rear of the trailer out your window. Next point. What is bridge formula? A law that limits weight based on the number and spacing of axles. This prevents heavy vehicles from putting too much stress on bridges and road surfaces. Let's move on. What should you do if you are being tailgated? Increase your following distance. By opening up space in front of you, you reduce the need for sudden braking, which protects you from the driver behind. Continuing. When driving in heavy rain, what is the risk of driving through deep puddles? Your brakes may fail or grab. Water can get into the brake drums and reduce friction. Gently apply the brakes to dry them out after passing through. Next question. What are 2 ways to know when to shift gears? Engine speed and road speed. You can use the tachometer RPM or the speedometer to determine the best time to change gears. Let's keep going. What is the purpose of the fifth wheel grease? To prevent steering problems and wear. A dry fifth wheel can cause binding, making it difficult for the tractor and trailer to turn smoothly. Next, how do you check the slack adjuster? Use scales and pull hard on each one. If a slack adjuster moves more than about 1 inch where the pushrod attaches, it probably needs adjustment. Let's continue. What is the correct position for the landing gear when the trailer is coupled? Fully raised with the handle secured. Partially lowered landing gear can catch on railroad tracks or other road obstacles. Next question. Which glad hand is for the emergency line? Red. The red glad hand connects the emergency air line while the blue one is for the serve line. Let's move on. What must you do if you're carrying hazardous materials? Check that the container is not leaking and is labeled. You are responsible for ensuring your load is safe and that the proper placards are displayed. Continuing. How should you test the parking brake? Pull gently against it in a low gear. With the parking brake set, the vehicle should not move when you attempt to pull forward. Next point. What is the danger of an empty trailer during heavy braking? It can bounce and lock up the wheels easily. Empty trucks actually require greater following distances because they have less traction for braking than a loaded truck. Let's keep going. What should you do if you have a tire blowout? Stay off the brake and hold the wheel firmly. Braking hard during a blowout can cause you to lose control. Let the vehicle slow down on its own. Next question. Why must you keep